Hey, Crystal Maiden here. And I've been waiting to do this for a really long time. This is Sonic Unleashed.
Sega.
And I'm playing the Wii version for multiple reasons. Like as I explained at the end of Sonic Rush Adventure, this is the only version I own and want to own. And I honestly feel like it has a lot less padding than the HD version, which does a lot to make it the better version gameplay-wise in my opinion. For some reason, in the Wii version of Unleashed, the intro cutscene, you have to wait on the title screen before it'll play. It doesn't play when you start the game. So if you just press start game right away, as many people would be ought to do, then they would get to the point where they would see the second cutscene before the first and be really confused. Naturally, I changed it to an actually good controller setting. And it was kind of weird because you didn't get to see it in the footage, but when I was changing it to the... Like, your default controller when you start out the game is the Wiimote Nunchuck combination. And it said low battery on the Wiimote. And then I scrolled down to the classic controller, and it said low battery again. So I was kind of panicked because I was worried that I was going to run out of battery before I got to the Nintendo GameCube setting. And the Wiimote is kind of weird because it kind of seems to randomly and wildly go between saying it's running out of battery to not. Eggman and Sonic, model-wise, look the best than they ever have in this cutscene. And in this game in general. I'm not really a fan of how Sonic's model looks like in Colors and Generations and Lost World. He looks unsympathetic. Like, that's really the only way that I can describe it. A lot of people say that this is the most awesome intro cutscene in all of Sonic. And this is because it's so full of action, which makes sense for an action platformer. It should be about action. The problem is that it goes on way too long with nothing but action, and so some people, including myself, can get desensitized to it and just get bored after a while. And the biggest problem I have is that they crammed all the action and the story into one cutscene. For most of the game, the cutscenes are just standing around and talking. And they're usually just either exposition or, well, humor scenes. You'll see. And I'm guessing that Sonic is able to summon the Chaos Emeralds and go super just by thinking about it. Which is good, that's very lucky. But it's weird. Usually Sonic going super and going all the way to the space colony to attack Eggman happens at the end of a 2D Sonic game. So is there an entire 2D Sonic game that we missed out on? I mean, I guess no one would like a 2D Sonic game ending with Sonic going super and then being turned into a werehog and then the story just ends. But yeah, there's lots of cool explosions here. Sonic destroying a whole bunch of robots. But we don't see a cutscene this action-packed for the rest of the story. And like, there's so much, there's action, but no dialogue. So.
Sonic! I'm sorry.
And Eggman pulls a Wily.
Go easy on me. I'll turn over a new leaf.
And Sonic calls out Knuckles on being gullible for believing him. But he believes him here! Really? Really, Sonic? And like, Eggman was acting like, oh, please don't kill me, even though it should be obvious to him that Sonic isn't logical enough to just kill him. And like, I'm sure that if Sonic had flew upwards, he would have been able to avoid getting captured by that thing before the electricity started. If Jason Griffith had done a better performance here, I guess it would have been... That image is made fun of constantly on the internet, with his eyes bulging out. But yeah, we would be more sympathetic towards the whole Sonic being electrocuted thing if they actually had him do a good performance. But I guess that wouldn't be too scary for the kiddies. That's going to be a recurring theme in this storyline. This leads into my least favorite premise in all of the main Sonic games. Eggman fires one laser into the planet, which somehow splits the entire planet into pieces, instead of just creating one hole in it that goes from one side to the other. Maybe the laser woke up Dark Gaia, and so he bursts out of the core, and that's what's split the planet apart? I don't like Dark Gaia. He's just a shapeless mask of darkness with no real personality or motive. How did we go from Shadow in SA2 to this? And this is so needlessly gruesome of a transformation scene. Look at this! Like, this isn't too gruesome? Really? Like, I'm not sure how they didn't... At least it's not as bad as Link turning into a wolf in Twilight Princess for the first time. So the planet's been shattered to pieces. Sonic's been turned into a werehog by, I assume, the negative energy of the Chaos Emeralds being absorbed into him, which gives him stretchy arms like Chaos, but... Yeah, a whole bunch of scary things have happened. The planet's been shattered to pieces, which should create an apocalyptic scenario, but doesn't.
You've really gone and done it this time, Eggman.
That's a good look for you. Festive. So long, friend.
I edited in this sitcom laugh track just to show off what a terrible tonal shift this is. Like, they go... The biggest problem I have with the story is that it doesn't know how to keep its tone straight. It shows signs of being a serious story, but it feels like they just had a lot of executive meddling, pressuring the writer to shove in these light-hearted elements that don't really work, because they don't feel natural coming from the story, they feel forced. There's a way to make a serious plot with some genuinely funny moments, and this is not it. Sonic Adventure 2 did it really well with Rouge and Amy having some really funny lines. They made jokes at the other characters' expense, but the other characters were still competent, so it was funny in a relatable sense. But this game has these forced, unfunny joke characters that just say the same joke over and over again. Oh, the menu controls here are really weird. You have to press down on the control stick before you can highlight something. And it's so slow to highlight anything. So I don't know how they managed to screw up menu controls, but somehow they do. That just never ceases to amaze me. I guess I backed out of that by mistake, which is another bad point. I don't know why they forced you to choose a Mii before starting a file. Does every Wii game do this? And I hate how they have a whole bunch of terrible looking Mii costumes. And you have to scroll so far before you can get to one that actually looks good. As if they're saying, aw, don't be a spoil sport, play along. But yeah, I decided to choose Tails because he's my favorite Sonic character out of all of them. Mainly in the sense that he's the most sympathetic to me in terms of his tragic backstory, and like, I like to root for him. He's a genius and a sweet kid, at least when he's written well. Now here's something that also doesn't make sense. Okay, so if this magical energy ball somehow appeared for no reason, why didn't it just carry Sonic all the way down to the ground if it wanted to save him, instead of just making him fall? And if he somehow survived this, why did he not get amnesia at the very least? I mean, a lot of people assume that Shadow got amnesia after Sonic Adventure 2 because he hit his head falling from space. But why didn't that happen to Sonic? So I guess his werehog form is bulky and he just lost health, so his health bar. What a perfect first line for the most one-dimensional, annoying character in all of Sonic. All Chip amounts to is, I'm gonna talk about food. I'm gonna joke around about eating food and have a really annoying voice.
I taste bad. You okay?
And he's so overly cartoonish too. He's straight from Looney Tunes. That's out of place even for Sonic. And I can barely even describe what his design looks like in the first place. His voice makes me want to mute the volume. And he just feels very forced in terms of his presence and everything.
Yeah,
all of his dialogue is either a pathetic attempt at a joke, or stolen from a better character like Tails.
The Hedgehog.
Because that's right, Chip actually replaces Tails as his sidekick in this game.
What is my name?
And the only reason I don't hate him more is because he's only in this game.
What? You forgot who you are?
Yup.
His whole amnesia plot
Falling from the sky.
kind of has the potential to make him look sympathetic.
Just going all
I don't know why he said
right.
white instead of black there.
Nothing.
That's weird.
I can't remember a thing past
Like, this
that.
can make him sympathetic.
Did I fall on him?
Oh man, what am I gonna do?
Again, a serious situation, not being taken seriously. That's not condescending at all. See?
Don't worry. I'll help you get
But
your
yeah,
memory back.
one, his amnesia is completely pointless as a plot twist and stuff,
I'm sure
because
we'll
the
find
plot would have
someone
gone
who
over
knows
the
you
same
look
way. It would have gone the same direction if he didn't have amnesia at all.
Monster guy, I mean.
And two, he stops caring about his amnesia really early on in the story. And it would be fine if they just explained it as, I'm going to be focusing on restoring the power of the Chaos Emeralds. And if someone actually knows me, then they're going to make it obvious when they just look at me. But they don't do that. Instead, they just have him forget about his amnesia. It feels like a cheap way of trying to make more relevant seeming cutscenes, in a plot that's mostly bare bones and a waste of time. Captain Obvious. I know, I've seen the previous cutscene. There's a lot of load times in Unleashed. Like, in fact, the Wii version has more load times. That's one flaw it has. That's why I'm gonna be cutting out most of them.
Here we go!
You can press the A button to jump.
See, this is something you joke about with a tutorial character, not something that actually happens. A lot of people joke about Omochao saying stuff like this, but they never expect this to actually happen. Do I really need a tutorial on how to jump? Really? And I hate how you get this awesome beginning. Like, look at this. It really makes you feel like there's this cool, badass start to something really fast and awesome, and then, well, he doesn't do it here, but normally Chip interrupts you entirely and just takes you out of the flow by talking to you and stopping the action. He says press the B button to drift, but really you're supposed to hold the button down, which confused me at first. But yeah, the drift works better in this game than it does in the HD version. I feel like you go a little too far with it, but other than that, it's fine. Although it's definitely early installment weirdness, because later on in the series, you'll drift by using the L trigger and the R trigger, which feels better.
You'll probably need to.
Do we really need a tutorial on the homing attack chain? Do we really need a tutorial on something we've been doing really easily since 1998? Really, Chip? And how do you even know about Sonic's new abilities at all? Like, I think like, really? Why is Sonic not questioning how he knows all of this stuff? You're gonna find out later that Chip is the worst tutorial character we've ever had. And not just because he states it blatantly obvious, like I would have gotten those rings anyways, but it's also because he doesn't tell you stuff that you really would need to know. Like, he doesn't tell you how the boost exactly works, all he does is tell you how to do it. The way his boost works in this game is that it's divided into multiple different tiny sections. It works by timed button presses, rather than you actually holding the button down for a while,
Press the B button.
which was really intuitive for me to get the first time. Oh, this is bullshit. I know for a fact that I pressed the B button, but I didn't slide for some reason. Oh, but now I slide. That was pretty frustrating. But yeah, the B button, I don't know why they mapped the slide and the drift to the B button. Like, they're going to make the controls nerve-wracking to memorize in the first time by making a whole bunch of different things mapped to a whole bunch of different buttons. Then why did they decide to map the drift and the slide to different buttons? And this is the worst possible camera angle for this. I can barely even see what's ahead of me. At the very least, I loved the quick step as a concept. The game would be a lot more cheap if you couldn't do it. Do you just press L and R to do a quick step? It's really simple and intuitive, and I'm really glad that they decided to introduce it. I hate how long it takes to confirm or anything, and how long it takes to go left and right on those things. But yeah, that was the tutorial level. And I'll see you for the first level in the game.